Call the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order September 25th, and it is 5 p.m. Our first piece of business will be to approve the minutes of the meeting that we had on January 24th, 2022. If you've all read the minutes, do you have any corrections, additions, or deletions? If not, I'll entertain a motion from one of you to approve the minutes.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Seconded.
Motion by Tawny, seconded by Bennett, to approve the minutes of the January 24th, 2022 meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Is there any other business, old business? If not,
Just, what is the status of that last?
I know, Michelle can probably update us more. I know that they've gone down and burned down an old house and.
The nursing center property.
Yeah.
They are still moving forward.
Okay.
I think we've done everything. They're ready for building permit, but they're finalizing some things at this point and financing and then moving forward.
We're also back on just apply.
Okay. Yes.
Ready, motion from one of you, please, to close the regular public hearing for Splash and Carwash.
Before a motion, close the regular meeting.
I'll second that.
Name second, to close the meeting and open the public hearing for Splash and Carwash. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And a public. Splash and Carwash. Before we go any further, introduce myself. I'm Charlie Breck. I'm the chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals for the town of Leonardtown. Now, I'm asking you to introduce yourselves. I'm going to you and Michelle.
Mike Clay. Bennett Wilson. Arne Pathland.
Bobby Wentworth.
Wait.
Members, this is case number 0505A, Splashing Car Wash, Lot 2, located in the Green Subdivision. The request for site for construction of a car wash. The owner is NIVEA-NAGGENA. Right. In here is gas or plain source incorporated property located at 487 Merchants Lane, Leonardtown. The land area is 150 acres and the zoning is commercial business. The case was advertised in the County Times on August 31st, 2023 and September 7th, 2023. The subject property was posted and certified letters were sent to the contiguous owners on August 25th, 2023. Certified neighbors had received the case file. Applicant again is requesting a special use for construction of a 3,000 square foot car wash with parking and drive aisle infrastructure. The Planning Commission provided a application to the Board of Appeals September 18, 2023, and I closed the package. Current business is occupied as a restaurant. Existing facility has 6 EDUs. The facility proposed for 6 blocks of use. Based on the uses of cars within the town, the estimated car wash would require 6 additional EDUs would be issued using the town does not have any EDUs. However, the town existing with construction to expand the facility. The estimated time completed by the treatment plant facility upgrade is only 12 months. The project could move through the engineering design during the time that we're waiting for the treatment to come on. This consists of town car wash facility with 4 staffers. Based on town municipal code, chapter 155, part B, the project is required to have 1 spot per 300 square foot of proposed building, which calculates 12 parking spots. The proposed project provides for 27 parking spots, which meets the town's parking requirements. The project has not been submitted to Soil Conservation, Department of Public Works, State Highway, or the Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Department and or the Fire Marshal. That is not required at this time. That will be addressed once, if the board finds that gives favor approval for this to move forward, then they would proceed to the concepts design stage at that time. The consultant has provided a traffic study dated July 14th for review. I have 2 copies here if you're interested. It was extremely large in nature, so I didn't use all that paper to copy them all. Section 15526C allows for automobile related use as a special exception if approved by the Board of Appeals. Section 155-102 indicates the Board of Appeals must find that the such exceptions will not substantially affect adversely the uses of adjacent and neighboring property. Section 155-36A dictates that the Board of Appeals must give consideration to the following: the number of people residing or working in the immediate area of concern, the orderliness of the community, traffic conditions at facilities, the effect of such use upon peaceful enjoyment of the people in their homes or surrounding properties, the conservation conservation of property values, the effects of odor, dust, gas, smoke, fumes, and noise upon the use of surrounding property values, the most appropriate use of land and structure, decisions of the courts, the purpose of these regulations as set forth herein, the types and kinds of structures in the vicinity where the public gatherings may be held, such as schools, churches, and the like. Actually, today, the applicant is requesting a special exception use approval for construction of a 3,543 square foot car wash facility. The Board of Appeals should vote to approve with conditions, delay, or deny a decision. And if you have any questions, we have both, I may be able to answer questions, and we have both the consultant and owner's representative here to address any questions that you may have.
I have a few questions. Within the EDUs currently, no construction can begin until the EDUs are in place, correct?
No, well, no use and occupancy permit can be issued for use before those EDUs are available.
So they can start construction before they have EDUs.
That's correct, if they should do that.
I'm sure that's a smart thing. How many vac?
If I can just add.
Sure, absolutely.
So this one is for the town council, and because we have an ordinance in place restricting what the remaining EDUs can be used for. We do have EDUs available, it's just that it's a limited number until the expansion is done. So they did not meet the test of any of those restrictions, but so the council put it on a waiting list. But we are going to be opening that back up in March to take a look at it again and make sure construction is on schedule. We'll be repealing that ordinance, so it will open up EDUs for them. But they can proceed with the design and engineering and even construction if they want. We don't issue EDUs, we don't allocate them until use and occupancy, which would be when the building is done.
How many vacuums will be on this site?
21.
21 vacuums,
Yes.
explains 27 parking spaces. For staff, is this a 24-hour operation or?
No, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
65% of the water is being recycled. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
What happens, what's going on with the rest?
So the remainder of the water will either be put into a stormwater management facility. They're required to treat 50% of the existing impervious surface. So that means that the current restaurant and parking area is 57,000 plus or minus square foot. They're proposing, I believe, is 37,000?
Roughly, yeah.
37,000, so they still have to treat half or 50% of the 57,000. So the site essentially will be over-treated.
Okay.
Secondly, when that site was designed originally, it also had to do stormwater management for what was there, but under the old standard. So the standard changed in 2012, which is now ESD design.
So when I was looking at the proposed building, I couldn't figure out where the orientation was. There's one side that has multiple windows, and then another side that has some windows, but then there's a long piece that has nothing but siding, I'm gonna say.
Right.
How's that orientation gonna work?
So the vehicles will enter the piece of property at the same location as the entrance is there now. So nothing is going to change as far as that is concerned. Then the vehicles then turn right and they will go around a access road to the, what I'm gonna say, the north side of the building and enter the car wash from there. And I just wanted to point out also that in their traffic report, the design there is reflecting almost 36 car stacking ability prior to entering that car wash. So they provided quite a bit of area for vehicles, so that I believe won't be that much of an impact to the existing shopping center. Now the clients do have a slideshow that they, PowerPoint presentation that they did prepare. And I think that being on a larger screen would help illustrate, as well as they have overlaid a existing car wash that they've already constructed somewhere else onto this site, which kind of really gives an accurate representation of what it's going to look like. So if you guys would like to present that, That might help clear up some of these questions.
That one long blank wall.
Right. Now, it is offset. It's just hard to see in these facade drawings, because it's, you know, if you-
I have a question.
yes, yes, ma'am.
So with the EDUs, is it actually 12 or is it 19? Like, does it consider the 65%?
Yes, we do.
So it's actually 19
No,
EDUs?
it's actually 12.
It's actually
We
12,
take
and
it-
then 65% of that
So
will
the
be
65%
recycled.
is the water that would be used through the car wash, actually washing the vehicles. That's a recycled number.
The
Right.
EDUs are the sewage
Yeah,
fees
right.
that they would be required.
Okay.
So it's,
Right.
it's off of a table, and it looks at how much of the water is actually being recycled as well.
Okay.
But that really, that decision is based on, it depends on what type of use and everything, and we have a chart. And that decision was already made by the council as far as the EDUs and how that would be
But-
decided.
It doesn't consider the 65%
Yes, it did.
recycling?
Yes, it
did,
does.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's how you came up with the 12?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the site already has 6 EDUs, so they would just be
Okay.
purchasing 6 more.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
I have a question related to that. Does the new wastewater treatment plant factor in both things like a car wash and population growth and like more
Yes,
sprinkler
so when
systems?
we were designing that, because we are at 685,000 gallons a day right now that we can treat, we're gonna be going to 1 million gallons a day. And what we looked at was growth for all the property in town, what is the potential? And we tried to estimate for the next at least 20 years what we would need for growth for that. And then there's, you know, excess over and above that for change of uses and things like that. But it was a very detailed investigation that went into it and trying to estimate certain things. A lot of things don't happen as fast as you like to think they're gonna happen, so we've done this a number of times, but absolutely there is room for, and it's basically just the matter of how many gallons per day we will get a permit to treat, and then that's divided by what an equivalent dwelling unit is accounted for, and then that will give us how many EDUs we would have available to allocate in the future.
Okay.
But we have it designed for, hopefully, for at least the next 20 years.
Okay, and yeah, and it sounds like there's a very detailed math problem
Oh, yeah.
that goes into that, so that's good. Okay.
Let me look at a couple of slides so we can get an idea of the orientation of this.
My name's Carl Schwartz, I'm with the Plant Source. I'm here with Boop Carwash, and Mike Mulhern and Brian Fenwick from Dash In / Splash In. Just quickly, I'm throwing this up, who are Dash In and Splash In. They're the Wills Group. They've been here in the area for almost 100 years. And have almost 300 gas stations, C-stores, and car washes. I put that up there, not so much as an advertisement for the company, but just as this project, what you're going to be approving is the change in use, right? Any sort of design details and that sort of thing, we will have to abide by the site plan process once you guys approve the change in use. And we feel that the car wash use is going to be more stable than what we've had there in the past with the restaurant, multiple changes and vacancies and that sort of thing. So I think we already went through the 7 a.m. through 7 p.m. This says 365. It will not be open on rainy days or stormy days or when people aren't going to be washing their vehicles. The building is designed to be modern. It uses state-of-the-art technology. It is a tunnel car wash. It will, people will drive up to the entrance. There is a belt that will grab them through. So every car will go through at the same speed And this helps prevent backups and such, as you've seen in some of the past car washes where people can kind of not look at the red, yellow, and green lights in there and block things up. All of the chemicals and soaps and things that they use are biodegradable. And everything that's used in the car wash gets collected inside the car wash and goes to the sanitary sewer and will get treated. Car wash like this is better than, you know, it's a new feature for your town, but their studies have shown that the car washes are more economic or more efficient use of water than people washing their cars at home, and it's a way to control the runoff. People are washing their cars in their driveways, the water just runs out into the street, and if they're near a environmentally sensitive area, it just goes into there. There's no controls. Here, we've got a nice new car wash, can help people out and help clean the water a little bit in the area. This is just the aerial view of the site. This is the Happy Seafood restaurant right now. This is the existing conditions of the site. And this is our proposed site plan. There is about 20,000 square foot, I think, a reduction in impervious area on the site from what's there now to what we're proposing. The stormwater management will be dealt with using the state's required ESD design, so we'll have bioretention basins. So the water will be storm runoff from the site will go into the bioretention basins, and the plants and the trees and the roots will clean the water before it's discharged to the storm sewer system. And again, that's just the site. The car wash, the runoff from the actual cars will go to the sanitary sewer. This is just a little bit of a picture of what our traffic consultant thought the traffic flow would look like through the various entrances to the shopping centers. There is a slight increase in the peak hour traffic during the weekday, but the morning peak hours is going to be a reduction, and I think the Saturday peak would be a reduction as well from a restaurant use. And that is our elevations as it stands now.
So, looking at that.
Yep.
The side of all the windows, is that facing, I'm gonna say the Blair Building, or is that facing
Where buildings to the east.
Arby's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so this portion would be facing the Blair Building,
Okay,
and this would be the entrance in here.
right,
And this it appears to be a straight, but it's not. If you look at the site plan that's attached, this bumps out right here, and then is a different roof line than this one up here.
are those real windows or are those faux windows?
Those are real windows.
Okay. That long blank wall is my concern with the way it looks. It just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing.
And the architecturals are part of the final site plan, and we'll
Okay.
go back to the planning commission again as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, the planning commission will look at the architecture.
Yeah, so this was just presented just as a kind of give you an idea. The planning commission, as Michelle said, haven't approved any facade plans at this point.
Okay.
We're addressing the exception of use.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have a
this
picture of an
is-
existing one now, right?
In his slide, he does, yes. It's kind of a picture looking from State Highway onto the site.
Is that the one in La Plata? I was just gonna
I'm
check.
not sure the location of the one they
Okay.
used.
It's not the same color brick, but it's essentially the same building.
Okay.
That's a picture of the existing Happy Seafood. And this is a rendering of how the site will look from Route 5. That's, just goes back to the beginning. Any more questions?
Any members have any questions?
Yes, sir. How many cars would come in? Like how busy is it gonna get? Is it gonna be like the Chick-fil-A that gets all backed up and what's
wish.
what's the expectation there?
I don't know.
Introduce Mike Mull.
Yeah, this is Mike Mulgren. He's their.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Car wash guru.
Couple questions. So the pod, as we refer to it, Mr. Brick, that's our equipment room. So it's a mechanical room where things are hung on the wall. That's why that room doesn't have any windows. Everything else does, which gives an openness and airiness that people really like, feel safe in. Your other question just now was on.
How many cars will come?
So the rule of thumb for car washing is for every 1 foot of tunnel length, you can wash that many vehicles per hour. So this building is 95 foot, so we can wash 95 cars per hour. Being the stack lane, which it is, this site's never gonna look busy to anybody because it's a conveyor belt, it's a production line, it never stops. So it's in that building, we'll probably be able to wash 6 vehicles at once. At one time, at any one time, there'd be 5 to 6 vehicles inside the building. So we have 2 payment terminals, so the stack lane, it's not gonna look busy at all. It'll never be backed up into the facility.
So this is a drive-through, you don't even get out of your car, right?
You don't even get out of your car unless you want to
It's
vacuum.
like a ride.
Yeah.
And my name is Bhupendra. It is important to stress here that we are asking for no new entrances off any side roads or the main road. We utilize only the existing entrance that serves the existing restaurant. So cars will be coming in from essentially the back.
Okay.
Very good. I've got to say, Mike, first of all, thank you again for all the information you sent us because it made it kind of clear to me that the ordinance wants this sort of business. We have to approve it, but it's kind of guided to automobiles and stuff like that. And the site already has automobiles across the street, car dealerships and repair shops and stuff like that. So, are there any other public comments, questions? If not, I can entertain a motion to approve.
I just
not
had
approve, or
one
modify.
question. I just had one more question. What's the average number of cars that go through with your other facilities? You say you have a number of car washes. 50 a day, 100 a day?
It depends on, each location is different, as you can
Right,
imagine.
weather and all those
On a
factors.
gorgeous Saturday in pollen season, 500-600.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Okay.
The good news is this site is meant to do probably 2,000.
Yeah.
On a normal day like today, is it under 100?
Yeah.
So it will vary in the season.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So it's hard to put an exact number, but in the first year, until it becomes popular, if we wash 100 cars per day, that's plenty. Until, snow and so forth comes.
And I suspect it's with its location that you're gonna get a lot of combined trips with the other facilities that are.
Right,
that are in
grocery
our shopping
stores and
centers.
such, yeah. Convenient.
And on a use like this, people wouldn't leave their homes to come and wash their car. So it's not a trip generator, it's a trip interceptor. If you're on the road and you're in the area, we will invite or we will attract customers who want to wash their car. what is important is that they do not stack up on the main road.
Right, right.
We have good stacking on site, and we have a rear entrance.
Any other further? If not, I can.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was partly just about the zoning. So there was, I got some information today. So this is CB Commercial District. That's what this location is?
Yes,
Versus Commercial Highway.
yes.
Is this zoned, this isn't zoned Commercial Highway?
No, it is not.
I can kind of, because I've been here forever. So, the shopping centers were, one of them came in from the county previously, it was, and then as we've expanded the town boundaries. When we did a rezoning probably 15 years ago or something like that, we ended up doing the shopping centers as commercial business, which is the same as the downtown. Most of the downtown is commercial business. Commercial highway is just really on Route 5 is the only place that that location is.
Versus Merchants Lane.
Well, Merchants Lane is more of an internal, and it's not really, we considered it at the time to be more like a downtown almost, so it has the same zoning. The only difference between commercial highway and commercial business is the automotive uses, gas stations, that type of use. So that's automatically allowed in commercial highway. In commercial business, we were really trying to protect the downtown, and since these shopping centers are now commercial business zonings like the downtown, we wanted automotive uses to have another process to make sure they were the right fit. And that may not fit downtown, but it might fit in a shopping center, or it may be, a gas station, which we wouldn't want necessarily right in the middle of downtown. So it just gives it another step in the process to make sure it's the right fit in commercial business zoning. Whereas if they were locating right on Route 5, it would be allowed automatically. It wouldn't have to go to this.
If they had direct access to Route 5, then that would be commercial highway versus.
Or
you don't have
Aesthetically, it is right on Route 5. So,
Correct.
But this just gives another step to make sure it's the right use, because it could be some other type of automobile use. It really lumps all AutoZone went through the same process. The car wash, it could be a gas station, it could be a impound yard. It could be some other use, but we want to make sure that there's an extra step in the process to make sure that it's the right fit for commercial business.
in the downtown.
In the downtown, or in those two shopping centers, which we zoned the same thing as the downtown, which is commercial business.
So is the intent of the zoning, when it was zoned, to make the shopping centers look like downtown Leonardtown?
It's not
Is
really
that
the
what-
look, it's
Yeah.
just more, we did not want to open commercial business up. What we would have had to do is make commercial business the same, basically, as commercial highway. But we wanted an extra layer of protection in sensitive areas, or areas that, certain types of automobile uses may not fit that area. We just wanted a little bit of extra protection for commercial business zoning. But there were reasons when they did the rezoning that they felt the shopping centers were more closely matched to commercial business than to commercial highway.
So do you think that the drive-through car wash fits the intent?
That's not really my decision.
Okay.
But, what your job is to make sure that it's not creating an issue with
Negative.
any of these
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. My feeling is that it's the Happy Seafood restaurant it hasn't really, that location hasn't been super successful, and it's neither, aesthetically, it's neither an improvement nor a detractor, but it is a useful thing to do after you go to the grocery store. So I think that's,
It's more
those
the
are my
use,
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just as a point, Chairman, if you do have to close the public hearing first and then the vote.
Okay.
Thank you, sorry.
Any other questions or comments? I'll accept the motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
I'll second.
Motion to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We're back in our regular meeting. this point, we can entertain a motion to approve, deny, or modify for Splash In Car Wash, NIVEA-NAGGENA, Inc., the Wells Group, and the rest of that. See, this is where one of you talks. One way or the other.
I'll make a motion to approve the project.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the Splash In Car Wash request for case number 5-5A, special exception use for a 3,543 square foot tunnel car wash facility. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Nay, sorry.
One nay.
But can I just have I have another
That's fine.
question.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what would be if we wanted to approve with conditions, what does that mean? Like if we're just here to say you can have an exception to the zoning, what does it mean to approve with conditions?
Well, what kind of conditions are you wanting to seek?
I don't know. I mean, what's the art of the
Well,
possible?
all right.
I'm just sort of curious because we say
Like,
approve with conditions.
For example, like
but-
you could say, like, I don't know, you would want them to have a wider entrance.
Okay.
Maybe that could be a condition. Maybe your condition is you want the EDUs to be done before you would approve.
Okay.
You would have to visualize what you would want. You can't just say, well, I'll approve this with a condition and then not name it.
Right,
Because
that's why I'm asking.
yeah, that's not fair to them. So, like, but to me, I think that this business is more suited for that area than a failed restaurant. I mean, it hasn't been great since Perkins. Can we bring back Perkins? I like pie, but I mean, and I like the Wills Group. I like that. I've grown up with that company. I'm a Chuck County girl. I'm not supposed to talk about that out loud, but I am. And I live here now. But the Wills Group really infuses money back into the communities that they're involved with. And they're known for giving grant funds and making their communities better because they live in those communities. And they are a Maryland family. They've been here for years. I think that there's like, how many Blacklocks are in that family that they've run the company for years. I mean, they're just a highly respected company in Charles County. They're starting to get their feet wet down here. I think they're well known on the East Coast. I love what you're doing with the Dash-Ins. Thank you for upgrading our Dash-In. I really need that cranberry chicken salad. Just want to put that out there on the record. So that's where I'm at. So.
Okay, yeah, and that was just, my question was purely because I didn't understand. So I wanted to get what that meant for that kind of thing.
So I'm going to ask for the vote again, just so that I know we've got the right vote.
I would have asked before,
That's
but
all right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? You're no longer opposed.
I'm no longer opposed.
Okay.
Aye, I said aye.
Motion made and approved to give the exception for Splash In Car Wash. Is there any other business to come before the board? I will entertain a motion to close the meeting, adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.